Okay, let's be honest. Ubisoft cop a lot of shit on the internet these days. And damn right too, they fucking deserve it. But their E3 conference wasn't too bad.
Listen, there's one reason I watch E3 every year. I want to see new games. For me, all the new gameplay, the DLC, all the extra info like release dates, features and so on are just a sideshow. I want to see new titles. So I have to say, I was actually pleasantly surprised by Ubisoft's conference. Yeah! First things first, they brought living video game legend Shigeru Miyamoto on stage to talk about the Rabbids Mario crossover. Look, it was cool. Miyamoto-san joined Ubisoft Chief Executive Officer Iga Who's eager? Mo's eager.
That's how I remember Iga Mo, that's how I remember.
Miyamoto-san joined Ubisoft Chief Executive Officer Iga Mo to introduce Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which seriously is kind of an XCOM style grid-based strategy game. So to quickly recap, Ubisoft has made a Mario XCOM game. It stars Nintendo mascots Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach and Yoshi alongside Ubisoft's Rabbids. The game, which is coming to the Switch, is not an unusual deal for these companies because Ubisoft were one of the few third-party companies to release a lot of games on the Wii U, for example. But Miyamoto said he's known Iga Mo for 25 years and he trusts him with Nintendo's most precious IP. It was a heartwarming moment on stage.
There were a few tears shed, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, he came out like with like smoke everywhere. He had like this cannon thing on his hand, and then
cool.
He gave one to our mate Iga Mo, and then he had one as well, and then they did like this Charlie's Angels.
And who's that dude with the beard who was crying? That was a touching moment.
Wasn't he the developer of the game?
Yeah, it was an impressive start though, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah.
it was nice.
One change for Ubisoft, they always have Aisha Tyler, I think her name is, and she's been doing it for like the last couple of years at least. So it's a bit weird not having her there because she's actually like really good at it normally. But so this time what they were trying to do was just get like the actual devs and the actual company out there. So it was a different strategy this time, but it kind of worked. It was good.
But that's not even the start of it. Well, it was, but you know, Ubisoft's conference was pretty packed with surprises. We knew Far Cry 5 was coming and we got a good eyeful of the gameplay, including some shootouts and the addition of a K9 companion. We also knew about Assassin's Creed Origins and we got a good look at the world and how the environment in Egypt affects the gameplay. The Crew 2 has more than just cars in it this time. We also saw some more of South Park the Fractured But Whole.
If people pronounce that differently, like whoever you...
Butthole.
Yeah, I go butthole. I go straight in.
Yeah.
That's coming out on October the 17th. But the surprises came thick and fast. First, there's Skull and Bones, a game that shows Ubisoft were listening when Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out in 2013, and everyone said, why don't you just make a pirate game? Skull and Bones is a naval warfare game with a shared systemic world in which players take part in 5v5 battles. Ubisoft says players will have to build a lethal fleet, prey on trade routes and all with other pirates.
They also showed off Starlink Battle for Atlas, which I don't think anyone saw coming. It's a Skylander style toys to life game set in space where the aim of the game is to build your spaceship and customize it with different parts which are then carried over in game. There's very few details, but it's coming to PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. We also got an interesting looking VR game fronted by Elijah Wood off of Frodo Baggins. Called Transference, it's a horror-ish VR game created by Elijah Wood's film studio Spec Division for VR platforms and traditional consoles, due out in spring next year. So that's another surprise.
Ubisoft put on a show, to be fair, and they saved the biggest to last. Ubisoft placed an almighty cherry on the top of the conference with a cinematic reveal for Beyond Good and Evil 2, a much anticipated follow-up to the 2003 original. No release date was announced, but we do know it serves as a prequel, taking place before the birth of Jade, the protagonist from the first game. Beyond Good and Evil was a sci-fi action adventure game and has a strong fan base to this day. The sequel takes place in a multi-ethnic society in a solar system known as System 3 in the 24th century. You play as a pirate in a ragtag band of heroes in a world where corporations enslave the human-animal hybrids they breed in their labs. After the trailer, an emotionally overwhelmed Michel Ansel came on stage to thank his team. The guy had some passion, that's for sure. I think they put on a good show. All in all,
yeah,
it was entertaining, wasn't it?
They had a lot of stuff. It was very substantive. It wasn't just, there was a lot of effort put into the actual spectacle of it, I guess, but there was a lot of stuff there as well, which is what pleasantly surprised me, especially the most.
Varied different things, like not just like a one main focus, and it makes you wonder why they don't put this much varied different things into the games. Because if they applied this type of
the production values there, like it's funny. I mean, they really cared about this, it seemed, and through the whole show, you know, there was a few times where I went, oh, what's this? And that has, you know, It's happened with Ubisoft more than any other conference so far. I've got to be honest. I've shat on Ubisoft as much as anyone else, so I kind of hate saying this, but it's I was pleasantly surprised a few times with some of their stuff. Skull and Bones. I mean, I was a huge fan of Black Flag. I think Black Flag was a fantastic game, and I was one of the people saying, "Why don't you just make a pirate game?" I'm so happy that they've done that, and also, I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to make a lot of people happy. I don't know if, like, you know, if it's going to be the right kind of tone and everything for series fans and that. I did see discussion either way. Some people were super excited. Some people were just thinking, oh, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I was expecting it to be and stuff like that. But it's a big move, and, you know, it's a long time coming. So all in all, it's been a very successful show for Ubisoft, I think.
Going back to Skull and Bones, you can't help but wonder if they're going to do the For Honor thing and just completely mess it up with the online peer-to-peer thing. That's the only, like, question mark for me. I'd rather like a Sid Meier's Pirates type of, like, huge, like, grand campaign type thing where you can do a single player game and using that game engine to explore a world, which would be awesome, not just like the 5v5 online only bullshit. The other thing was Beyond Good and Evil 2. It kind of reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit, you know, with like the funny little creature who's like making jokes and shit. But
it's that ragtag band of, you know, under-heroes type thing as well, isn't it? People, you know, against all odds kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this one for me is a complete, like, you know, out of the blue announcement. I didn't play the original. I didn't know about the original. The cinematic trailer looks nice. I want to see some gameplay before I get too excited, but I am interested. And that dance bit was a bit cringy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to explain to my girlfriend. I said, if you're wondering what the hell I'm watching, so am I. You know, you're in the middle of watching a games conference and suddenly there's Jamiroquai playing and there's like a dance routine going on stage.
It's just like, it was just like, who was it? Daft Punk mixed with like K-pop and then some like girl.
It was a bit K-pop.
A bit weird, isn't it? It's like the French with the Ubisoft and then there's like the Japanese connection with Nintendo, all mashed up on stage, and just to show off this Let's Dance game, which, like, let's not talk about too much about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of fun.
That was a low point, I've got to say.
It's a bit of showmanship, isn't it? Mixing up all these announcements with like a bit of a dance, and you know, people like that these days, don't they?
Do they? But of course, this is Ubisoft, and it's not all rosy. The company's live games policy, where pretty much every game is pitched as a multiplayer-focused, online, living world, makes it hard to get too excited for some of these games. As a huge fan of Black Flag, Skull and Bones looks flipping dope, but with such a heavy focus on multiplayer, my first thought is to For Honor and what's happened with its player base. Beyond Good and Evil will take place in a massive, seamless, online environment. My gut reaction isn't to think, great, I can play this with my friends. It's great. I wonder how bad the microtransaction system will be.
Ubisoft have made no secret of wanting to push online onto basically all of their games, building games around online features above anything else. And you can't help but wonder if that's such a smart move for them, if it means gamers react to their products not with enthusiasm, but with caution. All in all though, good show. Nice one.
Okay,
do you think Ubisoft to be excited about this announcement?
You can do that.
Everyone says it in the comments, Mike. We're just like mirrors to our comment section, so you gotta say it.
I've got to say it. Are you saying that as my boss? Or? So, do you think that was a good conference, or do you think Ubisoft to get too excited for these announcements? Like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. There's a video there if you want to watch that. And link to Patreon if you want to support other puns like that in future.
That was the best outro ever.
Yeah.